Hello? How are you? I bought something weird. Some weird cards. They're upside down. There are aliens among us. Limited edition. These are really cheap and they look fun. And I like alien paranormal stuff. Don't really believe in almost any of it, but I still think it's kind of fun. It says the first holographic alien card set, dual sculptured. Watch the Move multicolor limited edition 8-card set. All proceeds from the sale of the set go to the Feinstein Foundation, a nonprofit organization founded in 1991 to fund projects helping the needy, benefiting public education. I guess they were just like, what do kids like? Aliens, boss. I put some flying saucers on some cards. Little green men. Kids will love them. Maybe they did. I don't know. It feels like something they would have passed out at, like you would have bought at like a school fair or something. I don't know. But the holograms are pretty nice. Some poor sap is getting taken to this UFO. If you can see it in the camera, how well it comes off. And each one does a little, it's about an event that supposedly took place. It's tough to read the font on these cards, but I was going to try to read them. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll halfway through decide I don't want to read all this crap. On a bright cloudless night, a married couple driving home through the White Mountains noticed they were being followed by what looked like a plane without wings and with flashing colored lights. This object began to glow a steady white, descending within a few hundred feet of their car. Suddenly they heard an odd electronic beeping sound. Their car seemed to vibrate and a sense of drowsiness came over them. They were probably drunk. 35 miles down the road, they regained their faculties with a loss of time and place that neither could explain, and also why Jeffrey's pants were missing, and Sheila had a black eye. Under hypnosis, they recalled being stopped by 6 figures in dark jackets, carried through the forest and into the craft they had seen in the sky. They described their abductors as being short and hairless, with metallic light skin and slits for nostrils. I would love to make a very inappropriate joke right now. They emitted a low humming sound as they examined the couple. The doctor performed the hypnosis, was convinced they were not lying, that they had either witnessed a UFO and were so emotionally disoriented by it that an illusion or fantasy was imprinted in their memory, or the abduction was a totally real and true experience. Let me tell you something. In the 90s, late 80s and to mid 90s, these repressed memories with hypnotists was a big thing, and they're garbage. I don't really do it. I've been hypnotized. Somebody's attempted to hypnotize me a couple times when I was younger, when I used to smoke, to quit. And nice guy, and he gave me he was so happy that a younger person was in to get hypnotized. I think he gave me a set of stamps. He knows I like movies, so he gave me a set of commemorative movie stamps, and I never went back. I always felt bad, but the alien abductions, the memories, it's the hypnotists, they egg you on, and it is what it is. But so we got these bird ladies, kind of not alien like, more like 1978 Hanna-Barbera, but Grand Canary Island. How fitting. They look like happy ladies. The Gerben sisters who live with their 8 cats. Let's see. At about 10:30 p.m., a respected medical doctor and his driver spotted what they described as an enormous transparent UFO hovering over the Canary Islands with 2 extremely tall figures inside with large, bright eyes. They were further described as having pointed wing-like appendages on the end of their arms, and their heads gave off a sort of glow, like a halo. Otherwise, they appeared human in appearance with flesh-colored faces. They were described dressed in brilliant red clothing, wearing cloth-like helmets or turbans. Shocked and frightened, the doctor and his driver fled from their car to seek refuge at a nearby farmhouse. Other witnesses corroborated their testimony, including the farmer at whose house they took refuge and other people nearby. Sounds legit. Guaranteed that that actually happened, just like they said. This one's pretty cool. Guy's hand down, and he's like, "Oh, no, don't hurt me." I'm sorry. I didn't know you were showering, or whatever he's doing. Got a little bale of hay in the back. July 21st, 1991, in Missouri. Let's see. During an early morning backyard romp with 3 young girls. Yeesh, what was he up to? This was actually Jeffrey. I don't know why he's Franklin, the neighborhood freak, spying on this. These 3 young girls having a romp in their backyard. This is actually what he looked like, though. This is Missouri. During an early morning backyard romp, 3 young girls noticed a white, oval-shaped light moving rapidly from the side of their house to a tree in the corner of their yard. Suddenly, they heard strange rustling noises coming from it, and standing there was a strange creature. All 3 girls described as small, white, very skinny, with long, slender fingers, very narrow hips, no hair or visible nose. I know that guy. The creature also had a bald, egg-shaped head. Wait a minute, this is me, I think. Had ridge top, protruding forward, and large, dark eyes. I don't remember when I did this. It was also described as having a transparent abdominal area, which especially frightened them. The girls quickly fled their house, then into their cellar when they noticed the creature looking at them through a window. I do remember doing this. Investigators found no trace of the creature, but did discover a broken bale of straw underneath one of the house's windows, indicated something. Indicated something or someone had recently been standing on it. All 3 girls were considered reliable, with no history of fabrication, and displayed considerable consternation and fright concerning their encounter. Jesus, that was funny to me. This is kind of cool. It's like Joe Rogan sees when he does his DMT, you know, he's talking about. November 7th, 1990, Kansas. It's pretty cool. I mean, the art is atrocious, but an alien looks like more like Thor calling down light, whatever. But let's see. 2 women driving home on Interstate 70, slightly after midnight, suddenly observed 2 bright objects high in the sky. They pulled off the road to get a better view and witnessed a ball of light descending to within 100 feet of them, and then black waves coming through the lower portion of their windshields. The next thing they remember they were starting to drive again, with a feeling of exhaustion and loss of 2 hours of time neither could explain. Both women had never experienced anything like this before. Separately, one underwent hypnosis, trying to recall the loss of time. Under hypnosis, they both were related remarkably similar objects of being taken aboard an alien craft by alien life forms during that time. Both women described them as being slender, non-muscular, about 5.5 feet tall, with a large, hairless heads, tiny point chins, and huge, slanted, non-blinking dark eyes, which seemed to communicate telepathically. They had white skin, apparently no clothing, tiny noses, and barely perceptible mouths, and 4 long, slender fingers on each hand. Both women also recalled being examined by them under a bright white light while lying on some sort of table. Neither woman had ever seen or expressed any belief in UFOs prior to this happening. You know, I read something or heard something that a lot of times the alien people think they're being abducted by aliens. That it was like it's like a memory of being born that people have, a repressed memory. And when you're sleeping, you know, you remember, you know, these lights coming down and these figures, and it's actually being born. But I don't know what we got here. We got Crank from Ninja Turtles, Texas. Family was returning from a night of bingo in Houston when the story's already fallen apart. Bingo in Houston when they noticed what appeared to be a stationary light in the sky. It seemed to follow them for many miles until they reached home. As they pulled in the driveway, the light came closer and they could see it was a strange craft. Then it shot straight into the air and disappeared. Years later, under hypnosis, one of the women revealed she had seen two aliens at the time, approximately 3 feet in height with large heads in comparison to their bodies, very thin, almost skeletal, white, pasty-looking skin, giving the appearance that if you touched them, they would break or pop. These, yeah, I don't know. Although they looked fragile, they had long, dark, claw-like nails in each of their long, curved fingers. Their eyes were most frightening, very similar to the eyes of a cat, gray in color with no eyelids. Furthermore, the eyes seemed to move in and out of their sockets in a rhythmic fashion. Their chins were small and pointed with small slits in them for a mouth, and although they never spoke, they seemed able to communicate telepathically. Their bodies seemed covered from head to toe in a gray bodysuit except for the hands and face. Weird. Oh, look at this poor guy. He's just scared. Hard to get it. There it is. Oh, he looks so nice and friendly. That guy's got a gun. August 21st, 1955 in Kentucky. At about 7 p.m. at a farmhouse near Hopkinsville, a family of 7 adults and several children heard a hissing sound outside and saw a bright light in the sky. The light descended and appeared to settle about a block away from their home. Some adults had begun to set out to investigate when they saw some strange creatures coming towards them. They described them as between 3 and 3.5 feet tall, roundish head with huge elephant-like ears and a slit for a mouth. Their eyes were outsized and set wide apart. Their arms were long and nearly hung to the ground, ending with claw-like fingers rather than hands, and they seemed to walk on all fours. I'm covering this TV up because there's something inappropriate on there. I should have been a little bit more careful about what movie I put on the background, but we're all adults here. Reaching instinctively, or not, I don't know. Reaching instinctively, one of the men reached for a gun and shot at one of the strange creatures. It scuttled away, but then, suddenly, other similar creatures appeared. Shooting at them did not frighten them off. The family fled for the nearest police station. The story attracted wide attention investigation, but though it was agreed that the family was of good reputation, no corroboration of the story could be found except for a bullet hole in one of their windows. So the family probably got drunk. It's Texas. Kentucky, even worse. I like Kentucky, and I like Texas. But I'm just saying. Got drunk, start shooting each other, call the police, get involved. It was just little creatures in the backyard. What we got here? This looks more like a Bigfoot than an alien. Got 2 of them back. October 25th, 1973 in Pennsylvania. This is hard to read in this tiny font. Yeah, I know. My cat is pissed. At about 9 p.m., several eyewitnesses reported what they described as a red ball of light hovering above a field on the outskirts of Uniontown. 3 of the eyewitnesses, 2 young boys and a 20-year-old man, got into the truck and drove toward the field. As they approached, their truck lights mysteriously dim. Simultaneously, the red ball of light began to glow white amid a strange, whining noise. As they entered the clearing, they witnessed 2 large ape-like creatures with glowing green eyes. They were between 7 and 8 feet tall, covered with long gray hair, with arms so long they practically dragged on the ground. Out of sheer fear, they fled and called the police. When the police arrived, as they neared the spot of the sighting, they thought they heard something crashing through the underbrush, but upon investigation, no evidence of strange creatures could be found. Spooky. Let me cover 2 more. This is the last one. The guy gave me 2, so I'll have an extra one, or anybody out there in TV land wants one. So this doesn't look like an alien at all. It's got a cool, like the map with a guy in the motorcycle. Looks like a what's the Japanese, an oni from a Japanese monster or something. More than an alien. Yeah. July 20th, 1965 in Argentina. A 17-year-old student was riding his motorcycle near the city of Parana when it began to stall, and he suddenly noticed a bizarre-looking creature on the side of the road. He tried to turn around, but he could not move. He was very tall, between 6 and 7 feet, with a melon-shaped head and long, stark white hair. But the most intriguing thing of it all was that it appeared to have 3 eyes, all staring fixed without blinking. Then the creature began walking towards him. Its walk was very stiff, much like a robot. Not a robot, a robot. But it appeared to have no malicious intent. Suddenly, as it closed within feet of walking, a 3-eyed, 7-foot tall, melon-shaped alien robot walking towards you is pretty. It was like you got some. Your intent may not be good, but suddenly, as it closed within feet of the young student, it then turned and stalked off. Once it was gone, the student's motorcycle started up again, and just as mysteriously as it stopped, an investigation in the area uncovered a few unexplained footprints, but nothing else. The creature was nowhere to be found, but there were reports of luminous flying objects traveling at great speed near the area around the time of this reported encounter. You circumnavigate the universe, you can bend time and space, and do all this crap to scare a guy on a motorcycle and walk away. Stalk off. Don't really make much sense to me, but maybe he needed some Vicey. He had 3 eyes after all. And that's it. These cards, I thought they were pretty cool, and they were really cheap, and hopefully I'll have some more cards to do soon, or something to do. So I hope you enjoyed.